When does the successor trustee take over and how is my incapacitation determined? This is an important question when it comes to trust planning because the successor trustee, when the grantor, the person who initially created the trust, who made the gift, is no longer in the role and responsibility of decision making, the trust then becomes irrevocable. From a tax implication, as long as the grantor is still alive, nothing changes. It still flows through to their tax return. But it is irrevocable, meaning that unless somebody is given the authority or the power to do so, i.e. a trust protector, the successor trustee only fulfills the wishes and wants of the trust. They can't necessarily make changes. So the real question for most people is, okay, I've named myself as a trustee and I've named this person as my successor trustee, but how does that happen? What is the process to move them from the being on deck to being at the plate, if you want to use a baseball analogy? And that's where it really gets complicated. And you might want to watch the video on incremental incapacitation. Most documents will say that if a judge says you're incompetent, or two doctors, or sometimes one, say you're mentally incapacitated, that your successor trustees take over the responsibility as the trustee role. And you are going from making all the decisions one day to none of the decisions the next day. Now, that may sound odd to you. It may sound extreme. And I would tell you, you're exactly right. You are not overthinking this. Who in the world wants to go from I can make any decision I want with the money that I've saved and accumulated to making none all at one fell swoop? Makes no sense. So go watch the incremental incapacitation video and you can find that out. But what I will argue is in your document, whether you work with FEG Trust Services or you do this elsewhere, you need to have something in your document that is better determining, better expressed of how that transfer of power transpires and takes place. When do they take charge? How do you want them to take charge? What do you want to give up? You need to have that spelled out in your document. It certainly is in mine, and it can be in yours. If you want to go to FEG Trust Services, sit down and have a conversation. We're happy to have that meeting.